Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host, Sri Iyer. Joining me is Shekhar Iyer ji, and we're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things, starting with what happened to the Indian ambassador in a Gurdwara in Glasgow, Scotland. Actually, I should say United Kingdom. And let's welcome Shekhar Iyer ji, and also please like this video. If you've not subscribed, do subscribe to our channel. Shekhar ji, namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel.
Namaskar, Sheyarji. Namaskar. Thank you very much. Nice to be back.
Shekhar ji, this is really distressing. What we are getting information is that a certain Gurdwara in Glasgow invited the Indian High Commissioner, and when he arrived there, some other people, now they are saying that these are not locals, but somebody else, did not allow him to get out of the car, and basically he had to drive off. But there is also evidence that even inside the Gurdwara there were some troublemakers. Whatever it is, if somebody invites you to your home and then you don't get invited, what does that say? And there are a lot of other questions. Shekhar ji, how do you see it? I can play the video whenever you want, sir.
Well, this is a very, very serious incident because the people who invited Indian High Commissioner Vikram Doraiswamy, they included a member of Scottish Parliament. I mean, they were senior citizens of that area. There were other community leaders, and this was supposed to be an invite to the Indian High Commissioner to discuss a lot of issues concerning the community. But somehow the word was spread, and those elements which are very active there, they landed up there. We are told there were only 2 people. There could have been many more. And they were trying to forcefully even open the car of the Indian High Commissioner. So promptly, the government of India took it up with the UK Foreign Office, and the response that has come from the United Kingdom Foreign Office is completely different from what we have been seeing in Canada, where it is always a perpetual state of denial. But here it was immediately concern was expressed. The cops were sent to the Gurdwara. Inquiries were made as to the identity of the people who had come there. This is something shows the stark difference between how the Canadian government and the government of United Kingdom has been responding. This has a lot to do with the discussions that took place on the sidelines of G20 in Delhi, where our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji briefed British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak as to what was happening. In fact, the Prime Minister engaged the Prime Ministers of United Kingdom, Australia, as well as Canada. Of course, Canada, the matter was more serious, and we know for a fact that Prime Minister Modi did not mince words as to what was happening in Canada and how the local administration, the police were looking askance as to very serious developments taking place in Canada. And here in UK, one can see that after there have been incidents involving Indian High Commission in London and other demonstrations being done by these Khalistani supporters. At least the British government has come to realize that things can get out of hand, considering that these groups are very active in the London metropolitan area and in also area where the South Asians are, they live in large number. So one can see a kind of alertness on the part of the British government, which is in contrast to what we have seen in Canada and we continue to see in Canada. That's one thing. And what is surprising is that these groups are now very active. In fact, they are expecting some kind of a huge show of strength in Canada, probably encouraged by the Canadian government. So in fact, the information that the government of India has is these groups, extremist groups, they want to convey a message from the Canadian soil that how well organized they are, and it's going to be difficult for Indians in Canada, particularly if they do not support these groups. So that's another a bit of alarming thing that is coming. But in the meantime, we have seen our foreign minister who went to address UN General Assembly has been spending some time in Washington. He had meetings with Anthony Atkins, his counterpart, as well as with the National Security Advisor. And those discussions have been, of course, the readout was different. The In particularly, the readout by the U.S. State Department did not mention that the two leaders discussed the issue concerning Canada, but Jaishankar ji has been very candid. When he emerged from the meeting, he said, "We have come out of the meeting better informed." That's a very diplomatic way of saying, "Look, we did discuss everything under the sun relating to this issue, including the latest standoff involving allegations made by the Canadian Prime Minister and India's counter." And basically, what came forth is what we understand. Jaishankar told the U.S. Secretary of State rather three, four things in very, very clear terms without mincing word. One, Canada is harboring extremist elements. And number two, and the Canada's allegations about role of Indian agents, these are not consistent with the Indian policy of handling these people. That's second thing. And the third thing is that the Canada has a very permissive attitude towards generally people who believe in violence, who advocate violence, whether extremists or even Khalistani terrorists. And they are being given, space in the name of freedom of speech. And that is largely because, not because of Canadians are wedded to democracy or things like that, because compulsions of the local politics. This is was conveyed, and till date, Jaishankar made it clear to the US Secretary of State that Canada has not offered us any evidence to buttress its claim that our people are involved. And we are open to investigation if there is anything specific which Jaishankar has said before. He again repeated that if they have concrete things, something to tell us, we are willing to see what is the evidence on hand that the Canadians are saying they have. But it's more than a week since the allegations have been made. Nothing has been coming forth. We have seen the Canadian Prime Minister blowing hot and cold because first he made the allegation, then he said he didn't want to, allow this issue to jeopardize the relation. Now again, we have seen that we want to seriously engage Canada. I mean, engage India. Canada wants to engage India. This is the other statement that has come. Of course, from Anthony Blinken's side, what we are told is that the US would want India to continue to engage Canada on this issue, though there are differences in perception, differences in responding to these allegations. But definitely they want to encourage. But there was no any kind of insistence on the part of Americans regarding these allegations. Rather, we get to understand from our sources that the U.S. Secretary of State had an open mind, listened to Jaishankar's, whatever he had to say, and basically think that with Jaishankar, subsequently also when he addressed the Hudson Institute, he also mentioned, look, our problem is our diplomats have been directly threatened. There have been very direct threats coming to them through telephone calls, through posters, saying that they would be targeted, number one. That is one reason why we had to close down visa operations, because we could not keep our embassy open and issue visas and subject our personnel at security risk. This is one reason why we have not done. This is one point that has come. And this whole, particularly UK incident, which has followed this, what India is expecting is, well, they have even conveyed to the respective governments, is that could be a coordinated kind of attacks or a coordinated kind of show of strength, not just in Canada, but also in the United Kingdom and Australia, because these are the three countries where we are seeing this kind of behavior. Sir.
Sir, I have several questions and I just didn't want to forget them. First question is, did the Scottish Member of Parliament also show up at the Gurdwara?
I don't have exact information whether he was present, but the invite was issued in full knowledge of the Scottish MP, and he was supposed to grace that function, being a local representative. But I haven't yet got exact to confirm whether he was actually present. But definitely, the people who invited the Indian High Commissioner included the Scottish Member of Parliament. And the whole idea was to discuss a broad range of ideas. Of course, in the background of whatever has been happening involving these Khalistani supporters. But nothing is clear. Actually, information is, we have yet to get information. Probably we will know maybe in an hour or so, as to whether the Scottish member of parliament was present.
Sir, I just want to show the video now. Viewers, we will be touching upon this topic tomorrow, almost 20 hours from now, with Pandit Satish Kumar Sharma, who has a more first-hand update on what is happening. And also on Monday, there's more. Let's take a look at that video, please. Viewers, this is now gone viral on social media. If you look at Aditya Raj Kaul, his Twitter handle has some, and there are many other things that also happened. For example, there is a Sikh family. His last name is Kapoor, and his cars have been vandalized because he's refusing to toe the line of these extremist elements. These are all, some of them I'm sure are British citizens. So what Britain is harboring is terrorists in their own country. It's not some other country. It's whether it is Britain or Canada. If these people want to commit genocide, which is what Mr. Pannu's statement was, and Pannu is the dual citizen of US and Canada, so he qualifies to be an extremist in both these places, which is what I've been asking, what the heck is the government doing about it? And I don't know if Dr. S. Jaishankar said, these are your citizens too. What are you doing, Secretary Blinken? Did he ask that question, sir? Do you know?
Well, being a professional diplomat, Jaishankar is not known to speak in such strong words. So I think the Prime Minister's mandate to Jaishankar would have been mince no words and say everything, because as you mentioned, that these groups have been the Sikhs for Justice is operating from the soil of the US. I mean, there is no doubt about it. So one presumes that Jaishankar would have carried the message from Prime Minister Modi to Biden administration. We need not speculate further, but definitely it would have been conveyed. But that's why, Jaishankar's rather cryptic remark that we came out of the meeting better informed or better understood,
Well, this is where things will pause for a moment on this particular topic. And like Shekharji is saying, that there could have been a concerted attack, especially now that World Cup is happening in India, anything to embarrass India. For example, I'm seeing this frivolous accusation that no beef is being served for the players. Wait a minute. This is India. There is a cow meat ban in many states. It depends upon which state you are in, and it also depends upon a lot of other factors. You can't be complaining about this. Only one country has complained. I don't have to tell you which country. So these are all, chiller vishayangal. These are all chiller topics baat karte hain ye log. Akal hi wahi hai. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Sir, 3 states are now going to elections where BJP feels that it must win all 3. The latest polls indicate that it's a close fight between the Congress and the BJP in both Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, and we don't know whether Chhattisgarh is even in play for BJP. I could be wrong about it. Can I give us a roundup and also tell us why BJP is holding back on naming the CM? Would that not give it a more sense of direction?
Well, I think they're adopting a different model compared to what we saw them do in Gujarat or the experiment they attempted in Karnataka, and probably having burnt their figures in their strategy with regarding Karnataka. I think now their approach here is not, because in Gujarat model we saw 6 months before the elections, the chief minister was changed, a lot of ministers were dropped, completely greenhorns were asked to take charge, and that is how BJP, had a very impressive performance in Gujarat in the assembly elections. But here in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, what I'm told, because Chhattisgarh we'll talk about it later. In Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, the idea is to see that at least 30%, 30 to 35% of the sitting MLAs are dropped. And they are replaced by either senior leaders to avoid a bigger internal problem, or leaders who would also help by shifting to the Vidhan Sabha, I mean shifting to assembly election. They will also help the BJP in handling the anti-incumbency against their parliamentarians. So, for instance, in Rajasthan, out of total 25 Rajasthan Lok Sabha seats, 24 belong to BJP. At this time, BJP is very keen that they somehow try to retain the number so that the tally, overall tally in the Lok Sabha has to be, more than 300 plus. So that is why what we are seeing is some of the MP members of parliament who are also union ministers, they have been told to contest the assembly elections. For instance, the Prime Minister has wanted the Water Resources Minister, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, who is seen as one of the chief ministers probable. He represents the Jodhpur Lok Sabha seat. He has been asked to contest from Jodhpur assembly seat, which is part of the Lok Sabha parliamentary constituency. Now, that's a very interesting because deploying Gajendra Singh Shekhawat is actually a virtual challenge to Ashok Gehlot, because Jodhpur is considered his fort. And incidentally, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat had defeated Ashok Gehlot's son, Vaibhav Gehlot, in the Lok Sabha elections in 2019. Now, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has been told to go there. And what we are being told is even others could be named. One is hearing about Arjun Megwal too, maybe asked to contest because he's a Dalit leader and he's the law minister. He may be asked. I'm also hearing names about other leaders, including Diya Kumari. She's again a member of parliament. Then I'm hearing about Kailash Chaudhary. These are some of the people who are union ministers, but they are being asked to contest. This is Rajasthan. Now, Rajasthan, I think BJP is having little more breathing space. Of course, a close contest, but the sense one is getting from the Congress leaders is what looked like a easier situation because of what they were claiming to be Ashok Gehlot's good delivery mechanism in terms of welfare schemes. But of late, what is coming is that things are getting tough for Ashok Gehlot and his team. Of course, Sachin Pilot uh, is there. I mean, he's on board, but one does not know what kind of patch-up has been worked out, whether his men are working on the ground along with supporters of Ashok Gehlot. That is not clear. So, what we are getting to understand is even Ashok Gehlot, somehow, after, you see, Rahul Gandhi made a comment recently saying that Madhya Pradesh we are confident, Chhattisgarh we are confident, but Rajasthan is a tough seat. I mean, it's a tough contest. Now, for Rahul Gandhi to say that, this has created some kind of a tremor within the Congress. Why is Rahul Gandhi rather acknowledging that challenge in Rajasthan is quite serious? Now, after that, Ashok Gehlot has made a statement saying that he is requesting Prime Minister that if BJP wins this election, they should assure him that they will continue with the welfare schemes. That means even Ashok Gehlot thinks that his schemes will be implemented, with whatever he has announced in this run-up to these elections, that they will be implemented by BJP. And that is one. Sir, just recently, a few days ago, there was a meeting in a Jaipur hotel where the meeting went on. It started around 10ish and it went on till 3 a.m. And the meeting was chaired by BJP President JP Nadda as well as Home Minister Amit Shah. All the leaders were present, including Vasundhara Raje, till 3 a.m. And I think there it was very,
it
very
10
clear.
p.m. or 10 a.m., sir? Was it 10 p.m. or 10 a.m.?
It was 10 p.m.
Okay, 5
and it
hours.
went
Okay.
on till 3 a.m. So, it was called the Night of Long Knives, rather, because it was such a hectic meeting in a hotel where the core group met when several things were thrashed. But one thing was made clear to all the leaders. In 2018 elections, what the BJP struggled with, I mean, the central leadership or the Central Election Committee grappled with rather, was about how to manage the claims for ticket both from Vasundhara Raje as well as the anti-Vasundhara Raje camp. And there were many places where the survey did not show the candidate proposed by Vasudhara Raje could win the elections. Yet she insisted and tickets were given and those candidates lost. And that is how BJP felt that they would not go by the demands of these leaders. Rather, they are going to go purely by the surveys, and the survey will not be just by one particular group. There are multi surveys are being done by the party, and these are all collated and they contrasted also to get up some kind of a 360-degree of each constituency and what is the position of the probables, how good they are, which faction they belong to is secondary, or if there is going to be somebody who does not belong to any faction, they will be. And also, it was mentioned that these union ministers will be asked to contest elections. And basically, what the BJP leadership is looking at, trying to kill two birds, as they would say. You bring in people, I mean, deal with those MLAs whose chances of winning is much lower compared to the Congress candidates. So there you bring in these union ministers, bring rather seriousness to the battle, and then for the Lok Sabha you go for younger faces, because the Prime Minister wants much younger lot to go for the Lok Sabha election so that they have the energy. At least for the 5 years they are elected, they can move about the constituency, can actually work with their electorate by giving feedback to the government, seeing the implementation of some schemes. So these are some of the things planned. Now, this is as far as Rajasthan. Well, in Madhya Pradesh, they have already announced at least three central leaders who will be contesting. For instance, Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar, he will be contesting. So will Prahlad Patel. And then Kailash Vijayvargiya, who is the BJP General Secretary, and who was in fact because there was a meeting of Madhya Pradesh Core Group 2. And there they discussed the strategy, but these leaders were not aware that they themselves would be asked by the Prime Minister to contest elections. That's why Kailash Vijayvargiya's first reaction was, I thought I was beyond this, haath jod ke vote mangana and all that. That his bite went viral. Then subsequently he has tried to correct himself. What he meant was, look, I didn't expect, sir, but again, he's an indoor person. He's considered a strong man of indoor. His son is a sitting MLA from a constituency which is called Indore 3. And Kailash Vijayvargiya has been asked to contest from Indore 1, which means his son is being denied ticket. And the father and son have taken the hint. So the son has written a letter saying that I am opting out of the race because my father is contesting elections. I want him to win. Now, one can see how it is getting tough for BJP in Madhya Pradesh. And as they say, when the going gets tough, I mean, when things get tough, let's also respond with some tougher measures. So one can see how the Madhya Pradesh thing. And sir, Prahlad Patel case also. Prahlad Patel, an OBC leader who was close to Uma Bharati at one time, he is actually replacing his own brother in that particular constituency, which means wherever they want to cut tickets of those sitting legislators and who are part of a very powerful set of leaders, either kith or kin or belong to camp, they are being asked. Now, in the case of Narendra Singh Tomar, he's a Rajput leader. He belongs to Bundelkhand region. And Tomar's, if you recall, sir, he is the agriculture minister. He was handling those negotiations with farmer groups.
Yeah.
He had done at least 9 or 10 rounds. And there were, some kind of whispers as to Narendra Singh Tomar did not handle it well, or it could have been done with more deftness. But then there were other factors which prevented the farms bill being accepted by the farmers. I mean, we have already discussed that several times. But this is one good opportunity for the Prime Minister to shift Narendra Singh Tomar out of the central cabinet and put him in the state. Now, the next lot of tickets may be announced because the Pitru Paksha started. Normally, they do not announce the names of candidates during this Pitru Paksh. They would rather wait for the Mahada Amavasya and after that, start of Navratri. That's a good time to announce the names of candidates. BJP always follows this tradition to avoid what is normally considered inauspicious period. So the other list, people are saying even Jyotiraditya Scindia could be asked to contest from his Guna. Pune which is close to Gwalior.
Guna.
So go from Guna, and he could be asked to answer. Probably is something to do with Jyotiraditya being asked to contest. His aunt Yashodhara Raje, she has announced that she had sought the permission of the Congress High Command to be allowed not to contest these elections because she has been recovering repeatedly from these bouts of COVID. So she has sought that her needs attention and she wants to not contest this assembly elections. So the strategy seems to be that whether it is Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh, the whole idea is to see as much as possible bring fresh faces. And as Prime Minister believes, as they did in Karnataka also, if the situation is tough, if we have to bring about big changes, some kind of surgical change, why not do that and see also? Because that's the way to do it. And of course, the Congress is led by Kamal Nath, and Digvijay is also there. But Digvijay is the Digvijay and Kamal Nath, they enjoy love hate. I mean, blow hot, blow cold kind of relationship where sometimes they are together, sometimes they are not together. Now, Kamal Nath is a tough fighter because he has been around since 1980. Chindwada is his, but then his influence is considered to be confined to more of Chindwada than overall. But then he's a man of resources. The Congress High Command has again asked him to take charge of all the expenses of elections in Madhya Pradesh. So that's the reason why he's also being projected as a chief minister candidate. Last time he had won the election, but I mean, he led the Congress to victory and the margin was not very big. And that is why leaders like Jyotiraditya Scindia, his team felt neglected or sidelined by Kamal Nath, and the revolt happened. Now, this time, a lot of churning has taken place. Some of the people who supported Jyotiraditya Scindia and they came out of the party, and some of them have gone back. They have been wooed by Kamal Nath. So that is one thing that is there. Now it is Chhattisgarh, sir, which is actually very, very worrying for the BJP, because last 5 years, whether you call it the achievement of the Congress Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel, but the Congress, I mean the BJP could not come with a counter narrative or could not throw up a young leadership. Consequently, today we find the BJP seems to be not, needing leaders to give a good direction. I'm not saying the BJP is directionless, rather, it needs more stronger leadership. And that is why the Prime Minister has himself taken it upon himself to do as many meetings as possible, as many rallies as possible, so that whatever is missing in terms of organizational backup can be made up by his own personal appeal and his own personal campaign. But we have seen that does not work always. It did not work in Karnataka. So therefore, this is but then the idea is we have to fight with whatever resources we have. We have to fight with a new list of names, with a new young leaders. Many of them may be green-horns, but they have to be given a chance because it's a tough call in Chhattisgarh. And of course, you have Bhupesh Baghel has had a challenge from his Deputy Chief Minister T.S. Singhdev. And T.S. Singhdev was actually promised chief ministership by rotation. That is, after 2.5 years, Bhupesh Baghel should have given way for his Deputy Chief Minister. But then Bhupesh Baghel, after completion of 12 years, dug his heels, paraded his MLAs here in Delhi before Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, and managed to get a new lease of life. And all that agreement about rotation of seats was completely forgotten. And T.S. Singhdev, being a very gentle politician, he did not insist. But then he has been praising Prime Minister Modi, saying that this Prime Minister has been thinking of developing the backward regions. He has seen implementation of some scheme. Rather a good word for the Prime Minister. Of course, he has also said in the same breath that he is not, he would never leave the Congress party. He would rather die a congressman.
Sir, I find that a little bit like what you always say, right? Never believe anything until it is officially denied. So when they say it's not about the money, politicians, it's usually about the money. So if Singhdev is being wooed by BJP, because BJP is considered to be losing this one, Raman Singh, I don't know where he is. I have no clue. He was supposed to be a decent chief minister. I have no clue where he is. And if there's any other leadership that is waiting in the ranks, I have no idea. Chhattisgarh, what are the real chances for BJP? Because if Raman Singh is not being projected as a CM face, who else are there? Who else? Like, is there any union minister that can go from the center to Chhattisgarh area?
Sir, Raman Singh is not being projected because of his 3 terms as chief minister, 15 years of his chief ministership. Because when he started out, he started out as a very successful BJP chief minister because he implemented several schemes in the first 5 years. He was called the Chawal Baba because he launched these schemes, free supply of rice, salt, bicycles to girl children. There were several things Raman Singh did. I mean, Raman Singh was considered one of the successful chief ministers because after Ajit Jogi, after Congress had rule under Ajit Jogi, Dr. Raman Singh was seen as a big change. I mean, but then he stuck on for too long. Consequently, the anti-incumbency factor and also allegations of corruption involving aides close to Raman Singh, did the BJP caused the BJP to lose very badly in the last assembly elections. So therefore, the BJP leadership realizes that no more they can depend on veterans like Raman Singh. In fact, neither Raman Singh, his name has been announced as a candidate, nor his son, but his nephew Vikram Singh, who was a very powerful person when Raman Singh was chief minister, is contesting elections. Now, as far as who else can go there, at one time there was a talk. The Maharashtra governor, Ramesh Bains, who is from Chhattisgarh, who was a minister in Chhattisgarh, probably whether he would resign and go and contest elections. And he could bring some fresh blood because he is considered a very a decent politician, and he has not been involved in any factional groupism in Chhattisgarh. But that talk has not further gained strength because initially I'm saying about uh, after Ajit Pawar joined the government led by Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis, the talk was now that the governor's role is more or less as now then, so Ramesh Bains could shift to Chhattisgarh and contest elections. But I haven't heard further to that. But well, we do not know when, as I said, now the lists may not come, though there is going to be further meetings of the Central Election Committee as well as the core groups of these states. So there is a possibility that he could be one of the things, and probably they may also try to project a middle level tribal leader also. Sir, there is unique thing about Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh which I want to share with the viewer. Sir, in Jharkhand, the non-tribals are more than tribals, but you cannot project a non-tribal chief minister in Jharkhand. And BJP last time, they brought Raghuveer Das. And all the time the problem was they were constantly saying that he is not a tribal. Sir, in Chhattisgarh, the majority are tribals. The non-tribals are lesser in number compared to tribal. Yet the state has seen non-tribal chief ministers. Ajit Jogi, we know about Ajit Jogi. He claimed to belong to scheduled caste, and then there were doubts about the veracity of his claim of belonging to scheduled caste. So, because they say he belonged to Satnami, supposed to be a tribe, Satnami tribe. So, but then there were questions about as to actually this former IAS officer Ajit Jogi actually belonged to the scheduled category, and there were questions about as to how he obtained a certificate and things like that. Now, I'm not going into that because the late Ajit Jogi was a politician who, because of him, only Raman Singh was shining in contrast, I would say. So that is about Chhattisgarh, sir. Now, with these 3 elections, of course, there is Telangana too. Now, Telangana at the moment has taken slightly a backseat because the lot of focus is now on Rajasthan and these places. Now, in Telangana, the fact that they had to uh, first they had to put down the internal fire, rather the rivalry between Tela Rajender and your Bandi Sanjay Kumar, that itself saw a soft leader like Kishan Reddy taking charge. That dampened the enthusiasm of many BJP workers and cadres. So there also, otherwise, when Bandi Sanjay Kumar was leading it, BJP was rather seen as more a favorite compared to the Congress. But now the situation has reversed. So this is how where we stand, sir. In another 2 months, one is going to see more uh, clarity as to strategy of these parties. What do they intend to do? But one thing is clear: BJP feels even if the situation is bad, let us not stop experimenting. Let us bring new people and see. That's one way we can beat anti-incumbency and also open up chances for many more people when the Lok Sabha elections take place. So that is why I said anti-incumbency of Lok Sabha is also in the mind of the BJP leaders.
Thank you so much, sir. And before we go to the next topic, we want to bring another slide up to show you what kind of other harassment these extremist elements in UK are doing. Can we have the slide, please? So what has happened is that there is a gentleman, Harman Singh Kapoor, and he is a restaurant owner, and he has been facing violent attacks and threats from Khalistani terrorists since the last 8 months. And they have failed to acknowledge or provide him with his family security. The bullets were fired at his car. The car has been painted red. I mean, partially, it is kind of vandalized. You can see that thing there. And we can play it if you want.
हम हौसलों में हैं ये हरमन जी है और हम द पर्पस ऑफ मेकिंग दिस वीडियो इज टू शो दैट कि हौसलो और लंदन कितना सेफ है हम इंडियनों के लिए और लोगों के लिए जो हरमन जी जैसे है जो अपने स्टैंड के लिए खड़े हैं। हरमन जी क्या हुआ?
सबको सत श्री अकाल, राम राम और जय हिंद। मैं हरमन सिख हूँ एक, और मैं इन खुतिस्तानियों के खिलाफ हूँ। इनके खिलाफ मैं बोलता हूँ इंग्लैंड के अंदर, तो ये पिछले 8 महीने से लगे हैं मेरे पे हमले कई बार कर दिए। ये मेरा मुंह बंद करना चाहते हैं, और कल रात से एकदम से इनके फिर से फोन आने शुरू हो गए कि हम तेरे को मारने आ रहे हैं, तेरे को जान से मार देंगे, चुप हो जा। तो कल रात को मेरे घर के बाहर आए। पहले तो रात को गाड़ियों पे पेंट फेंक के गए लाल कलर का, बताने के लिए कि खून के धब्बे हैं, अब तुम्हारी बारी है। उसके बाद अब आधे घंटे पहले उन्होंने अभी ये गोली मार के गए गाड़ी के अंदर। खालिस्तानी की खोतिस्तानी इंग्लैंड के अंदर दरिंदगी फैला रहे हैं, आम आदमी को मारने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, जो सच बोल रहे हैं उसको चुप कराने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
हरमन जी ये कब से हो रहा है और कैसे हुआ, कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ, और आपने क्या क्या किया? पुलिस को बुलाया, पुलिस को बताया, पुलिस हेल्प कर रही है नहीं कर रही है?
8 महीने से ये लोग मेरे पे अटैक कर रहे हैं। मेरे पे 4 अटैक हो चुके अब तक। इन्होंने मेरी बीवी बच्चों की फोटोएं डाली ऑनलाइन, उनको चूमा चाटा, रेप थ्रेट दी, मेरे घर के एड्रेस ऑनलाइन फेंके, मेरे बच्चों के स्कूल के एड्रेस, कॉलेज के एड्रेस ऑनलाइन फेंके, जाओ उनको मारो, रेप करो, विल पे यू। पुलिस को कंप्लेंट की है, पुलिस यहाँ की बिकी हुई है, सरकार यहाँ की बिकी हुई है। ऋषि सोना कुछ नहीं कर रहा है।
अच्छा,
कुछ नहीं कर रहा सरकार, पुलिस कुछ नहीं कर रही है। 8 महीने हो गए आज तक की, फिर आज गोली मार गए सुबह सुबह।
हरमन जी ये आपने क्या क्या इसके लिए किया है? आपने लोकल एमपी को कांटेक्ट किया, किस किस लोगों को कांटेक्ट किया है?
कोई काम करने नहीं आ रहा, सबका वोट बैंक है। एमपी से बात
आपने कांटेक्ट किया है?
कांटेक्ट की, उन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया। वी आर वो बोल रहे हैं पुलिस को रिपोर्ट भेज दी, पुलिस थोड़ा काम कर रही है।
और कितने लाइव थ्रेट आए, कितनी बार आए, क्या क्या?
कम से कम 20 लाइव थ्रेट आए हैं।
20,000 और एवरीडे आते हैं?
एवरीडे,
डे एंड नाइट दे आर थ्रेटनिंग यू, ओपनली ऑन द इंस्टा एवरीवेयर।
वो बोल रहे, वो इंस्टा पे, ट्विटर पे और टिकटॉक पे जाके बोल रहे हैं कि हम बैठे हैं, जाके हरमन को मारो, हम जिम्मेदारी लेंगे।
और पुलिस ने आपका प्रोटेक्शन हटा दिया था, आपका वो जो कैमरा डाला हुआ था वो
पुलिस का प्रोटेक्शन हटने के बाद ही अटैक हुआ। फिर से पहले भी अटैक हुए, एक मिनट जहाज आए, अटैक मेरे पे जो पहले अटैक हुए, मेरी पुलिस प्रोटेक्शन हटी, मेरे पे अटैक हुए। अब दोबारा से मेरे पुलिस प्रोटेक्शन हटी, फिर से अटैक हुए। आई डोंट नो हाउ दे नो।
श्योर, नो प्रॉब्लम, थैंक यू।
So this is what is happening. The voices that are of reason are speaking the truth. They are successful businessmen, and they don't want them to go about making doing their business. You can see that with the Bentley car. It is one of the most expensive cars. and they have tried to put a red paint. I think they are trying to show that that is actually blood, although blood turns black once the hemoglobin goes away. The thing is, this is really sad. I mean, they have even shot through his windshield. Shekharji, these are clear-cut signs that they are on the losing ground, number one. Number two, I think they are scared for their life, because if something like this happened to Niger and nobody knows who did it, then perhaps they think that there is a list and that their name may be there. And whoever it is, this is not going to end well for them, guys. I mean, it's now the UK police, the ball is in their court. They'll have to act, in fact, act fast. What you said about the foreign ministry responding is only one thing, that is on the diplomatic level. But what needs to happen is action on the ground. Everyone needs to feel safe. It doesn't matter who they are. This brother of mine is a law-abiding man, and he has been standing up to a lot of pressure. There's 8 months. In fact, as he was talking, you could see some, I think they look like Law and Order, step out of his house. But guys, come on now. You didn't know this thing? 8 months is a long time. So all kinds of reasons will be trotted out. I don't know if he's in a London suburb, because London today is Londonistan. I mean, I hate to mix countries here, but Tariq Fatah used to complain that the every complaint of his would finally end its way up to a senior officer in the region where he lived, and that person happened to be a Pakistani Canadian, and he would do nothing. So there is infiltration of that kind also happening, even in the police. I mean, this has gone on for far too long, and Rishi Sunak has his work cut out. And I can tell you, if India goes on to still sign an FTA without a clear determination, an action plan, and action of at least a dozen Khalistani supporters, extremist elements in UK being extradited back, I don't think the FTA is going to happen. And if the FTA doesn't happen, UK, the entire population is at risk, because right now only bright spot is India as far as the economies go, and UK and India stand to benefit. UK more perhaps. The same thing with Canada. Canada has tried and burnt its fingers, and I'm still not hearing a word about drugs on the plane, whether Mr. Trudeau was high on drugs and that's why he skipped some critical meetings and events. Nothing is coming out. Come on now. Deny it.
No, they have denied it. The Trudeau officers denied that all this, because it was made by Deepak Vora,
yes,
Indian former diplomat, saying that he had reliable, he used a particular term, he had reliable, not exactly information. I'm not able to recall the exact word he used, as to say that the speculation about cocaine being found on that, and Prime Minister himself was very high on cocaine. That's why he had to skip the G20 dinner, things like that. Of course, though have been very stoutly denied by Trudeau's office. I mean, they said they have come to know that this is being spread on the social media. Sir, but very interestingly, what is happening is a lot of those, there has been gang wars involving groups which are all sleeper cells of the ISI. And some of these groups, including those operating in Kashmir, and some of these moles or the leaders have been killed. They're inter-gang war. And the speculation is, there's one character named Nazir Ahmad. There is a talk that he has been bumped off by the ISI itself, because whoever is worth is over for the ISI, they bump them off if they are proving to be rogue. So one can see that this fear has come, and I'm told the Sikh groups, whether it is in UK or in Canada or in Australia, they now are saying that in fact their life is under threat and they should be protected. And that is why one of these idea of having a rally is also to say, look, we are in danger. And it's a duty of the governments of Canada, UK and Australia to protect them. Because, sir, these groups are actually into gun running, narcotics, and there is always a fight over the booty. And as we have seen in the movies, the best way to settle the question of booty is to bomb one of them. So this is what has been happening there. But there is also an element of fear in these groups that they could get exposed. But then India's approach is very clear, handing over dossiers, clearly saying where are these groups present. And India is also gaining intelligence as to, since our own people are also getting information as to which are the cities and towns and localities or places of worship that are controlled by these people, how in some places they are grabbing places of worship to establish their control. It's actually real estate grab that also goes on in the name of Khalistan.
Thank you, Shekhar ji, and we'll run through the last topic, which is the reality of ADMK, quitting the NDA, and what does it mean for BJP. I have for long advocated that this is actually good for the BJP personally, and Sriram Seshadri and I have talked about this for a while. I don't think we have talked this at length with Shekhar Iyer ji. Shekhar ji, the ground realities now for BJP. Do you think the first one is PMK? PMK, if it comes to BJP coalition, that would help them. Is that going to happen? What about Shashikala and her group, OPS? All these people, will they all be coming to BJP? What are your thoughts, sir?
Sir, right now, BJP is in a situation where it is seen untouchable. I mean, this is a very, very harsh reality, because ADMK, what exactly happened that ADMK chose to take this path. But one thing is clear is the rank and file, I've been telling them about the 12% minority vote. This has been bothering them. The other talk is that the BJP central leadership signaled to Edappadi that he should try to accommodate OPS, TTV and Shashikala so that the ADMK fights this Lok Sabha elections unitedly, and that did not go down well with Edappadi. That is the second reason. The third reason we are told, being speculated is that probably it was the problem BJP insisting on larger number of Lok Sabha seats. And they wanted a line share to follow a formula that in Lok Sabha elections we will contest more, in assembly elections you contest more. But I don't think it would have come down to the figure. The bigger explanation is that they realize the problems that they have been saying that in 2019 Lok Sabha elections as well as 2021 Lok Sabha, assembly elections, the ADMK felt the loss in the southern districts. I would say personally that was more because the votes were split. The Tevar vote got split. The ADMK's traditional votes got, because TTV, Thirakaran's party also contested election, though they lost deposits, but they ensured the division in the ADMK votes and consequently DMK benefited. Now, for DMK, southern districts are not exactly stronghold, but they managed to win. So that is one factor. But very strangely, sir, the people are not final about it in Tamil Nadu is, if Annamalai is the reason, can Annamalai be the reason? Because they said it is because of Annamalai's utterances on our founder Annadurai and on Jayalalitha, that is why we left. But ADMK, while announcing the severance of relationship with the BJP, did not criticize Prime Minister Modi, did not criticize the BJP ideology or policies or anything. That itself is very, very strange, because now in the Lok Sabha elections, DMK will be, sir, you have to either oppose somebody, you have to be for somebody in the elections. Now, the question that is being asked is, DMK and its alliance will go to the people for the Lok Sabha elections, opposing Modi, opposing BJP. Now, what is ADM going to do? ADMK, after having severing alliance, can they speak in favor of Prime Minister? Are they going to go to people seeking vote for the Prime Minister? Certainly not. So, what will be the election plank of ADMK? Obviously, they have to speak against the DMK. But being not part of a national alliance is also disadvantage to ADMK. But at the same time, at least till the Lok Sabha elections get over, it gives them an opportunity to show, look, they are no more untouchable. Those allies who are in the DMK alliance, who may have problems over, as disputes are bound to rise about number of seats to contest, there would be bargain, hard deals. Now, those alliance partners get an opportunity. Look, there is another alliance, which is an alliance that will not rob away their minority vote base, because ADMK has cut off relation with BJP. Now, as far as BJP is concerned, there are two things, sir. One is the long-term agenda, and the other is the short-term agenda. The short-term agenda, which is actually more pushed by Home Minister Amit Shah, is that whatever seats we can manage through alliances, we must get. And that is why the alliance with ADMK, even if we get 2 seats, we get 4 seats, we may claim that we want to win 10 seats or 15 seats, but whatever we win, and it could have been only in single digits, because BJP knows its reality in Tamil Nadu. Now, the long-term objective is what is pushed by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is very keen that there is a space for a party that speaks of Indian nationalism and not Tamil nationalism as expounded by the Dravidian parties. So the Prime Minister has been saying, look, Tamil Nadu was in the forefront of the freedom struggle. And so, whether it is Subramania Bharatiya or Kapalottiya Tamilan, Chidambaram Pillai, all these, there were several luminaries of the freedom struggle. But how is in that place the Congress declined and there was a rise of Tamil extremism, Tamil nationalism, and a nationalism which is, propounded on a fake theory, and constant this being fed that Hindi is being opposed, we have to resist North India, we are different, even our Hinduism is different from the Hinduism practiced in the rest part of the country, other parts of the country. This constant thing has, because the Prime Minister feels that that bridge has to be built, and we will have to ensure that the Desh Bhakti, Indian nation, nation first, these are the things with which the BJP should, if necessary, plow a lonely furrow for some time, but then at the end of the tunnel there will be light, because ultimately BJP should be able to project itself as the real alternative to Dravidian parties rather than do piggy rides with the ADMK. This is the Prime Minister Modi's approach, sir, and that is the mandate Annamalai has been carrying it out. Of course, Amit Shah feels, look, at times we have to do some tactical shifting of gears, because we also need seats. If there are shortages or loss in the northern parts of the country, it should be made in south, particularly in states like Tamil Nadu. But that is why there is a instruction has gone out from the BJP central leadership, Tamil Nadu leaders, don't talk about this break of alliance. That's why even Annamalai has not spoken. In fact, on October 3rd, Annamalai and other BJP leaders are going to sit in Chennai and discuss the thing. There could be presence of a central BJP observer, or I'm told even BL Santosh, the BJP General Secretary in charge of organization, could be participating, and where some clarity will have to be given to the BJP's approach. Of course, Annamalai personally feels if because he has been said the whole complaint is that if you are going to analyze, then don't speak against ADMK, only speak about DMK. But Annamalai has been always saying, look, we have to go alone. Rather, trying to indicate what the Prime Minister has in mind, because he has been saying, look, I am only carrying out instructions. But there is also indication if they have to finally settle for an alliance, let's say after 6 months, right just before elections, both sides feel the need for coming together, because BJP and the ADMK are seen natural allies when it comes to the Hindu vote. Of course, ADMK Hindu vote, ADMK feels it's like different from the BJP Hindu vote. But if a situation comes where the alliance, there are back channel talks and there is some kind of understanding just before elections. In that case, sir, Annamalai has indicated that he is willing to step aside. But that would not be accepted by the BJP rank and file, because they have seen in Annamalai a leader who has definitely managed to stir the pot in Tamil Nadu. His Padyatra has been drawing attention, getting people to come out and hear him, as to talk about Prime Minister Modi, talk about BJP's ideology, and why BJP is interested in the seeking approval of the people of Tamil Nadu. He has been talking very systematically as per the plan, a plan which BJP has always followed in states where they have started with zero. In Karnataka also they started like this. Sir, interestingly, after the breakup, we have had one tweet by C.T. Ravi, who is a BJP organization in charge for Tamil Nadu. He has said lotus will definitely bloom in the land of Thiruvalluvar, which means not today or tomorrow, but in the distant future, BJP has future in Tamil Nadu, and towards that goal we will work. So that means somewhere along BJP has accepted the reality that ADMK, having taken this step, cannot come back because after all they want to woo the minority votes. But it could also suit BJP that ADMK goes alone and tries to win whatever it can win, and at the same time create confusion in the DMK camp. Because sir, DMK is worried after BJP, after ADMK stopped ties with BJP. The worry is now its present allies will definitely use the new situation to strike a hard bargain. So, but there is another interesting thing. These allies of DMK, suo moto, they have been issuing statements saying that we are not going anywhere. As they say in Tamil, Appa Kudurpul illai, we are saying something which is not needed to say. Keep on asserting that, sir, I would like to remember, like we say in Tamil, in Appa Kudurpul illai, that my father is not hiding in that haystack. So similarly,
Yeah.
similarly in Odia, sir, there is a very interesting way they say mu kodali khaini, which means I have not eaten the banana which was offered as prasad. That I have not. That is a Odia way of putting it. Mu kodali khaini. I have not eaten that banana which was kept in the puja room and offered to the god. Suwamoto saying so. So similarly, these denials, they are also very interesting. I have heard denials from MDMK. I have heard denials from Thirumavalavan, Vidudalai Chiruthai party. And sir, Edappadi called up Thirumavalavan because Thirumavalavan is undergoing some medical treatment. So Edappadi called to inquire about how he is progressing and all. But this was not just a courtesy telephone call, because this has come soon after ADMK stopped ties with BJP. And Thirumavalavan is actually a person who tests waters before the Congress does, because he is also very close to Rahul Gandhi. Now, within the Congress also, they are speculating. Of course, they hope the DMK will do justice to them and offer them a larger number of seats than 2019. But all this is going to depend, Shreyaji, on the outcome of these elections in northern India. Because there are two possibilities I'm looking at. One, if Congress were to do very well, let's say they win out of 4, they win 3 assembly elections, then an assertive Congress would put pressure on DMK, and saying that we need more number of seats because we need to have a more striking capacity so that we can improve the all India tally. To improve our own all India tally, we need to contest on our own symbol more. So that is one, which could again create problems for the DMK-led alliance. Now, if the BJP were to do very well in these assembly elections, that would further reinforce the impression that Prime Minister Modi is definitely going to come back to power. So the smaller parties which are in the DMK alliance or even other parties, they could consider, why not let us join this BJP alliance, be part of their setup in Tamil Nadu, so that post-poll elections we could get benefit by association. Sir, similar thing, question is asked. DMK has such a huge presence in this present Lok Sabha. But what is it in terms of impact on national politics? In fact, their situation is like Congress. Though they have more than 30 MPs in parliament, in the Lok Sabha, in terms of what they could achieve for Tamil Nadu, nothing. Even in parliament, they just talk about trying to defend their leaders. Other than that, they have not done much. A similar fate could happen to ADMK also. Even if they win, say, by going it alone, 5 seats or 10 seats, what will they do after winning those 10 seats if they do not return to India Alliance? But some people are saying, ADMK leaders have said, look, not just for 2024, even in 2026, we cannot be with BJP because we are determined that we should get back our base in southern Tamil Nadu, particularly, where 10 to 12% of minorities play a crucial role. Shreyaji.
Thank you so much, Shekhar ji. And we have crossed 1 hour already. And I think maybe we should take a few questions with your permission, sir. Maybe the top
Yes, sir.
3 questions, because we already passed 1 hour. Can we have some questions, please? Rahul Rathod, is BJP too soft on K gang and only now they realize their mistakes? And historically, BJP has not done anything to Sikhs. They were suppressed by Indian National Congress during K days, and yet Sikhs have animosity for Modi.
Rahul ji, actually, it is constantly the government is being reminded by some experts on Punjab that that Khalistan is not a big issue in Punjab. That there are no big groups supporting within the country for the Khalistan issue. The problem is essentially abroad. And those people, after they tasted blood in the farmers' agitation, are very keen to play some role in the local politics. Well, the victory of Aam Aadmi Party is also attributed to the role of these elements who helped Aam Aadmi Party with cash and kind. That's no doubt about it, because they got a lot of these foreign contributions, and these contributions could have come from those sources. That is one. So in Punjab itself, it is not a big issue. But then Punjab has got certain other issues which are central to the politics in Punjab, which is huge unemployment, low returns from agriculture, the youth of Punjab being addicted to drugs, and the youth of Punjab constantly looking to go abroad for their future. And some of these are contradictory, some of these are overlapping, but this is the today's Punjab problem, because it is on these very issues we saw Aam Aadmi Party win Punjab elections handsomely. Now, it is not that the BJP has to act against the Khalistani, because within the country there are no such active elements at work, though there may be some sympathizers, and we have seen in the last 2-3 days, National Investigation Agency has been conducting a raid in several parts of the country, particularly in Punjab, Haryana, in different places, trying to trace out elements who could be receiving help from these Khalistani elements in Canada, UK, or Australia. So that's how it's been going on. So one need not say that this whole thing is about the first farmers' bill upset the Punjab farmers because they were fed on a propaganda that this is going to curb their income, whereas it was contrary thing was planned. It was to open up the market, but then the middlemen who are so powerful in Punjab agriculture economy and who are also money lenders, they actually confused and they fueled this agitation. And in fact, fearing that this agitation should not further escalate into a pro-Khalistani agitation. That is the reason why Prime Minister withdrew those 3 farm bills in a very sad manner, because he went to say, look, we are withdrawing because we could not convince the people. Otherwise, we don't think per se these farm laws were anyway against the interest of farmers.
Next question, please. Pawan Kishore wants to know, Namaskaram, sir. Is the Women's Reservation Bill effective in countering the caste census narrative? Given Mr. Rahul Gandhi's speech today in MP indicating INC is pushing to make it a major 2024 issue?
Well, one of the objectives of bringing Women's Bill is to bring in a new element to this demand for quota within quota and to increase quota. And the opposition plan is very simple, sir. It is not about OBC. They feel that they must drive a wedge among castes. And the best way to do is you create this, get a caste survey done. After that, if the reports come, then it will affect the Hindi unity, which has been somewhat achieved by the BJP. And they feel the BJP success is not to do with appeal of Hindutva, appeal of religious identity politics, which BJP has effectively countered other identity politics, minority identity politics. So the best way to divide is they are going back to their old formula of Mandal, which is you to try to reignite these caste affiliations. That is why the demand for A. And Rahul Gandhi, forgetting the fact that Indira Gandhi was opposed to this caste politics, Rajiv Gandhi was opposed to politics, he is now blindly speaking for this, that there should be caste-based census, caste-based census. But central government is not going to agree. But what they are going to do, Shreyarji, as I mentioned last time also, though in the bill that has been passed, they have said they will implement the quota after the 2060, after a census is undertaken after 2060. That's what this constitution amendment bill says, the one that has been passed. But I am told Amit Shah has a plan to order census activity to start from 2024 January, so that by January 2025 the census work is completed and one more year is taken up for data collection and subsequent thing. So by January 2026, in fact, the government intends to be ready to implement the women's quota, starting with the assembly elections that would take place from 2026 onwards, though the Lok Sabha would be brought under this quota in 29. Because previously it was felt, because during the parliamentary debate also, you saw everybody, all the opposition is saying, look, you are going to do a census only in 2026. That would take another 2 years. Even 29 would not be covered. It is only 2034 you will implement it. But the latest plan, sir, I am told by reliable sources that to bring in the women's quota by 2026 election, that would need just changing this present amendment to bring amendment saying that it would be based on census after 2020 instead of saying it would be based on the census which was supposed to take place in 21 was conducted starting from 24.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Anshuman Singh, BSP and GGP Alliance is also going to dent at least 10% vote share in the tribal region, which is a strong belt for Congress. Your take, sir?
Well, BSP has its own pockets, but then as we discussed last time also, the Mayawati's constant grouse is that alliances have never benefited her. That her party transfers vote, but the other parties don't transfer their vote. But at the same time, sir, instruction has gone out. I'm told that Mayawati should be handled with kid gloves. There should not be much criticism of her or her party. This is a strategy that the BJP leaders have been advised by their party high command. So you can see that the impact of this. And similarly, whether it is in Chhattisgarh or in Madhya Pradesh, if there are tribal groups, maybe they will try to have an alliance or so, offer them, say, for 4 or 5 seats. If there are local religious groups which have command a law, the tribal groups which command good influence in some pockets, the BJP may be willing to do business with them.
Thank you so much, Shekhar ji, and viewers. That brings us to a close of today's episode. And starting next Wednesday, on Wednesdays at 10 a.m., Shekhar ji is going to be joining us and he'll be speaking in Hindi. We're trying this new experiment and we want your support. Shekhar ji is very proficient in Hindi. He grew up practically almost all of his life in the northern parts of India, and he'll be a treat to hear in Hindi. So Wednesdays will be Hindi, Saturdays will be English. We're going to try this format and we need your support, of course. Shekhar ji, thank you so much, sir. Namaskar, and आपसे मिलेंगे Wednesday के दिन, बुधवार के दिन.
बिल्कुल ये बहुत अच्छी प्रोग्राम होगी और हमारे श्रोताओं के लिए, हमारे व्यूअर्स के लिए जो बातें हम अंग्रेजी में कहते आए हैं और जो तमिल में कहते आ रहे हैं उससे ज्यादा चीजें बताएंगे हिंदी में, क्योंकि हिंदी का अपना मजा आता है, हिंदी में बोलना, हिंदी में सोचना. और मैं लुक फॉरवर्ड, और श्री अय्यर जी भी बड़े अच्छे हिंदी बोलते हैं, इसमें कोई ये नहीं है, और उनको तो बहुत उर्दू भी मालूम है. तो हमारे सब श्रोताओं के लिए शुभरात्रि शुभरात्रि शुभरात्रि.
मेरा हैदराबादी मुंह मत खोलिए. नमस्कार.